Hello, hello, my amazing listeners. How are you today? Thank you for joining me. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking time out of your day. And I hope that last episode really got you thinking about your experience and what it might be like to start believing your experience. And today I'm going to continue that conversation, take it to a different level, and talk about how to start believing again, believing in all of it, the trust, hope, goodness, higher power, love, but most important, believing in you and believing in your lived experience with betrayal, abuse, and divorce, believing in your lived experiences with the ones you created that are happy and sweet and good are also important to believe. So today we're going to talk about believing your body. And I will just say this was really hard to try and keep this episode short when we're talking about the body. I absolutely love talking about how amazing our bodies are because your body's memory is an integral part of trauma that goes way beyond the cognitive part, right? That cognitive recognition that we have, the body holds so much memory and it influences your physical health, emotional well-being. It influences our behavior. And so acknowledging and addressing this aspect of trauma it's crucial for that holistic healing and recovery that I talk about. Trauma isn't just a psychological issue. It's a physiological one as well. And so to truly heal, it is essential to address the impact of that trauma had on the body and allow for that integration of mind and body in the recovery journey. So, how many of you feel like you have memory loss due to your trauma? I know I do. Literal gaps in time that are gone. And I'll get pieces back with my therapy work, but long-term or short-term memory, it's impacted. And most of you listening have or are experiencing this. And here's the thing though, is that your body has memory too, but it isn't lost. The body knows and the body keeps the score, which highly recommend this book, put it in the show notes, but the body keeps the score. It knows. So cognitively, you might feel like you've lost lost memory and you can't remember things. Body knows things. So for example, my mom, years and years ago, had one of those flat stovetops and where, where there's no like actual coils, right? It's all just flat. And she went to go reach something in the upper cabinet over the stove. And so she put her hand down on the stovetop to hoist herself up. And the burner was still on. And so her hand literally stuck to the burner. Talk about traumatic. I know how many of you just cringed, right? Oh, that was maybe 30 years ago. And she still talks about it to this day, how anytime she goes to touch a stovetop, she cringes and feels the physical memory of that traumatic experience. The body kept the score. Then we have unconscious experiences that reside in the body. Now, these memories can influence your emotions, your behaviors, your physical health without you consciously recognizing the orienting source of what you experience. The brain doesn't know consciously, but the body knows the source of what you're experiencing. It's like you're sitting in a car behind the wheel and you have your hands on the wheel. You think you're going straight, but there's an invisible set of hands on the wheel that you can't see. And it's trying to throw you off. It's trying to turn, it's trying to move the wheel. And you're just like not sure what's happening because you can't see the other set of hands on the wheel, right? That's that unconscious experience. Your body's doing something. You have emotions and you're just like, what in the heck is going on? So cognitively, you don't understand what's going on, but your body knows exactly what's going on. Okay. That's the unconscious experience that resides in the body. And then we have fight, flight, freeze. This is your autonomic nervous system's response to the memory of trauma stored in your body. Trauma, as I've mentioned before, trauma is dysregulating, right? It throws off the nervous system. So there is potential for the chronic hyperarousal. That's the fight, flight, or hypo arousal. That's the freeze. And you're experiencing this long after the traumatic event. For example, for me, I still suffer from the PTSD symptoms of startle and shock, those loud noises. When doors open to the room that I'm in, suddenly my body goes into a trauma response. And I have to take a couple deep breaths, my fingers, or something to bring me back to the present moment. Like, okay, no, I'm okay, I'm fine. But that's an example of my body remembering the trauma in that fight, flight, or freeze. My body is always hyper attuned to my surroundings, waiting for the the shock. Now, I will say it's actually exciting. I will say I have been doing a lot more intense deep brain reorienting in my therapy. And for the first time in decades, I just went 2 weeks without a panic shock kind of response. It is possible to heal. I just want to let you know that when we talk about PTSD symptoms, it took me some time. It took me some time finding the right type of therapy to work to rewire my nervous system. I'm really excited that I went 2 weeks without like Scott opening the door to to the bathroom and me like having a shock response. So exciting that that is starting to let up a little bit. But what is amazing to me is how all this time my body was still orienting the hyper attuned to my surroundings. I could sit in a restaurant and on the other side of the restaurant, a plate will drop and I'll have a shock response. So that's the fight, flight, freeze, autonomic nervous system's response to the memory stored in your body. It's important to know about your body's memory and how it's showing up for you because healing and trauma recovery isn't just about talking through memories and emotions. That holistic healing has to address the bodily aspect of trauma as well. So, understanding your body's memory is going to help you to believe the story that your body is telling you. How many of you are having trauma related flashbacks? This originates from the body's memory. When you can see it this way, rather than something's wrong with you, or why don't you just stop thinking about it? Nothing is wrong with you, and your body has stored the memory. When this gets overlooked in the healing journey, now we have chronic pain, we have autoimmune disorders, and other physical health issues that really can be improved when you process this stored trauma. I want to pause here for a moment because I can like feel your brains saying now, oh my gosh, get this stored trauma out of me, Amy. Just tell me what to do. Or your brain's like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be healed. There's so much damage that's been done. Alana told me this analogy and I love it. So I tweaked it just a little bit, but I want to offer you a way to think about your healing post divorce due to the massive unknowns of your ex partner's behaviors and feeling so in the dark about the reality of what he did, who he did it with, and even feeling in the dark about who they really are because holy hell, this isn't who you thought you married, right? Anyways, it's like you are standing in a house and all of the lights are off. Okay, it's total darkness. And every time you gain awareness of truth, your truth, a light gets turned on in the house. Not all the lights, but the more you practice healing tools and uncover your truth, right? Really drop into more awareness of your thoughts, your body, your emotions, what your trauma parts are telling you, the memories and truth that your body has to tell you, you turn on more and more lights. Psychoeducation through books, podcasts, those also help turn on lights because it opens up more awareness to perhaps giving you a language to put to your lived experience. And sometimes when you hear that language, your body feels the truth of it. When I learned about gaslighting tactics and studied that language, which, by the way, if you want to learn more about the gaslighting, kind of side note, but if you want to learn more about gaslighting, I highly recommend my friend and colleague, Sarah Morales, who is the gaslighting expert. Her program is stellar. Just sarahmorales.com. And I actually am a certified deconstructing gaslighting specialist through her program. Check it out. I'll put it in the show notes. Anyways, when I learned more about those tactics, my body felt the truth of that. And when I met Hope Ray, and studied her work. She's the one that I had on when we talked about wise femininity and betrayal violence. When I heard that definition, my body literally felt the truth of that for me and my experience. So those turn the lights on to your inside parts that have been in the dark for perhaps a very long time. I just want to validate too how more information and knowledge about your experience doesn't always feel good. It might ring true in your body, but then it feels really uncomfortable and painful. And that's totally normal. And we want to make space and allow that. I'm not a morning person in a sense. I don't like talking to people or hearing people's voices in the morning. I get up early, and that's not a big deal. But I'm not on the clock to be available for human interaction for quite a while. Bless God's heart. But he knew this about me before I got married, so he's fine. Anyways, he does crack up at me every morning when I walk into the bathroom and I go from my dark room. Like I have like pillows over my head, like I like it dark, dark, dark. And I walk into the bathroom. He's got the lights on, and my face apparently amuses him. But it's awful. Like, why? Why are the lights on right now? Why are all the lights on? Closet lights, bathroom light, shower light. Anyways, it just hurts. It just hurts. Or when your kid comes into your room at night to say he's home, you're having a conversation with him. He knows you're awake, but he just decides to flip the light on that's right above your head. Like, why? What's the thought process there? I don't know. Anyways, illumination to your truth is sometimes like that, right? Like, ouch, that hurts and that's really annoying and painful. But once the light is on and your eyes start to adjust and you blink a few times, splash cold water on your face, your brain starts to catch up. Your body will feel the truth before your brain. This is why believing your body first is so vital. What is the story that it's telling you? For years, my body knew something was off a few months into my first marriage, and I became accustomed to telling my sense, my intuition, you're wrong. When I'd wake up in the middle of the night and he'd be gone out of the bed, my body had a sense something isn't right, something feels off. When I'd ask him about it, his answer also left my inner knowing feeling like something is off. But I wanted to believe him over my body because that meant everything is okay. And if I just trust what I'm sensing, that might mean things aren't okay. So over time, my inner knowing became stronger and the gaslighting became worse. So my body was used to being denied, and I learned to gaslight myself pretty damn well. Okay, so where do you start? How can you practice believing your body? Pay attention. Drop into self awareness and observe. Pay attention and get more curious about what your body is feeling and sensing. There is no coincidences here. When my body feels tense, when I notice it starting to pull backwards away from someone, I watch, I listen, I believe. We were invited to someone's house a couple weeks ago, and this was with people that I'm only acquainted with and others that I just didn't even know. But throughout the night, I was interacting with different people and I was listening to my body because I practice that a lot and I've gotten pretty good at that. I was watching myself and watching how, like, okay, did I just like I'm folding my arms and I'm crossing my legs and I'm curling forward, right? That position where you're just like self protecting, or was my body creating distance between the person that I was talking to, right? Was there a backing up, pulling back type of feeling that was happening, right? What was my body telling me there? Did my body feel relaxed and naturally want to lean in to that person as we're having a conversation? And what does that mean? At the end of the party, I got in the car. So I was just like sitting with myself on the way home. And I noticed that the more that I sat with those experiences at the party with different people, I was watching my body, and my body started to feel more tense and I started to feel more angry. And after a couple miles, Scott even started to notice that I was like talking angrier about things, a little bit more sassy and snippy. And I usually start swearing more. And by the time we got home, I had determined that those people were not my people. Those people are not people that I feel like I'm going to invest to associate with any further. Because the more that I sat with my experiences and observed what my body would experience at that party, it wasn't relaxed. It wasn't a leaning towards and leaning in and feeling comfortable. I felt like a lot of my time I was self protecting and pulling away. Your body is the superpower, y'all. I know. Believing your body isn't easy. It is hard work. I've been practicing a long time, and every time my body says something is off, my initial response is to want to tell myself I'm being a brat or I'm reading this wrong. So don't get me wrong. There's not a perfect way that this is supposed to be, and you will always feel the opposition. And how you read your body is going to be different from how I read mine. But that's what I'm saying here is to know your body and believe your body. Like Scott had a totally different experience than me, right? Like there were a couple shared responses, but I chose to believe mine. Also, what I've not only noticed for myself, but what happens when you start practicing this, your body starts to believe you again. It starts to trust that you are going to listen to it. How many of you are sick and tired of your triggers? And you're feeling like, how can I tell if this is a real threat or just a trigger from the past? Right? I get this question all the time. And my answer, it doesn't matter. Believe your body first. Stop trying to overthink, outthink, or self judge or shame. Just believe your body's response. And it's happening for a reason. Your body has this response to an internal or external trigger, which all this means is that the trauma part of you, this part sensed or noticed something. And it could be the tiniest thing, could be the tiniest something. And it noticed the something that reminded it of the original trauma. So now its job, for as long as you're human, is to warn you that this trauma has wrecked you. It might happen again, and this might pose a threat. This part isn't lying. When you walk down the street and you see a blonde woman and your trauma part knows that your partner or ex partner had an affair with a blonde, of course it's going to freak out on you. So, first, you have to see that your body isn't wrong. Yes, he was with a blonde. And yes, this woman in front of me at Target is blonde. Thank you for warning me. I believe you, body. And capital A and D, I'm okay. I'm safe in this moment. And sometimes I'll add in and tell my part, it's okay, she's not the one, but if she was, you'd be ready to go, right? Just kidding. Maybe. Okay. The more you practice believing your body, though, the less intense it will warn you. The less intense that warning will feel in your body, and the less time it will take for this part to simmer down. I know you all want these triggers and memories that your body has stored to just all get out and get over it. Let's be done. The truth is, your body knows that if you really did feel and experience all the stored memory that the body has to tell you about all at the same time, you'd most likely die or come close to it. I know all of you are just like, let's just get it all over with, feel all of it, and be done. I don't think it's supposed to work that way for a very good reason. If your body really felt all of the trauma that you've experienced all at the same time to just be done with all of this, it wouldn't be able to handle it. It's called hematodrosis. It's what happens to a human body in rare cases when it faces such extreme intense fear, abuse, and torture for an extended period of time. Hematodrosis. The body feels so much all at the same time that it will sweat blood. And as a Christian believer, I worship Jesus for feeling all of the trauma all at the same time for an extended period of time, causing him to bleed from every pore. His human body was under so much pressure for all the pain and all the hurt all at the same time for all human mankind. I believe in him. I believe that he could do such a thing because of who he is And I am just fine processing my trauma in my body one step at a time, no matter how long it takes, because my body was not intended to do what his body did. That's not the plan. That is not what it is set up for. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's not wrong or bad or these trauma experiences, these trauma memories. And my job is to process them when they come up. That's why a decade out after just my divorce, I'm still processing. That's why this past 2 weeks, for the first time, I've had progress around a particular PTSD symptom. My body was ready to release that. It was ready to let me see the memories that came from that original trauma and process and release. Your body knows when it can handle the stress of processing trauma. So listen to it, feel it, believe it. This is trusting yourself. This is believing your body and your body believing you. When you learn to work with your body and not against it, work with your body's memory, you will gain a sense of agency and empowerment over your healing process. You will actively choose how you want to respond and how you want to self-care and how you want to have boundaries and who you want to be around. You start to become the chooser in your life by choosing to believe your body because you can. Take care, everybody. All right, everyone. So, believing your lived experience and believing your body. Next week, I'm going to talk about believing in you and how to sit with your cognitive dissonance. But if this is resonating with you and you're feeling more ready to gain additional awareness into your story and into your body and see how these experiences and memories that your body has to tell you, are you feeling more ready to gain even more awareness into yourself and into the stored memory of your body? And see how your human brain is keeping you from looking at it, how your human brain is keeping you from processing it. I love supporting my group members in the Believing in You coaching program. They are doing incredible, deep healing work, and they are thriving. I teach from the 3 pillars of healing: awareness, acceptance, and agency, offering tools every week to help support them. And as they watch their own human brains, they observe other human brains get coached. It's showing them things that they didn't even know were there. It's helping illuminate and turn some of those lights on in the house that they didn't even know needed turned on. My Believing in You coaching program is a powerful way to take your healing to the next level. Applications are being accepted now for the November 8th start. For more information to see if you're ready to take your healing up a notch, head over to the show notes. You can also book a consultation with me and we can chat about it. Because above all, the more you believe in you, the more empowered you become, which helps you choose healing, choose recovery, and choose you. Take care, everybody.